Hello, welcome to my show. It is 6 a.m. Max has been barking for an hour, so I thought I'd give my neighbors a break. I think there's a bear outside somewhere. But anyway, I just wanted to say a couple things. I got my bag of St. Benedict medals. I'm going to put them on my property to keep these guys out. You can also put a St. Benedict medal over your door of the house. I got little small ones. You get a bag for about $20 for 25 medals. So you can put them in your over the door of a particular room in your house, things like that. So if there's something you wanted to protect, uh, it has all sorts of functions. It's very powerful, and uh, you might want to consider it if you're being bothered by um, entities and things like that. They don't like that metal. The other thing is, we're going to a point where multiple attacks on humanity. So, somebody wrote a nice article about how Lenin and the Bolsheviks took over Russia, and we are experiencing the exact same thing. And my dowsing said, well, we're more like Nazis, is it correct? Nazi fascists. But I can't tell the difference sometimes, because the outcome is dead. I'm dead. Second, I always had Pelosi and AOC. Let's say back in the summer, I said they're not going to be around politically. And when I'm dowsing them now, I get that these are not the people; these are doubles. And Q said a few years ago. I don't even know if is Q still up. I don't know. Uh, by and large, I get him telling the truth. Him, the group that plays Q. I always got it as a very patriotic, small group, and they're here to get messages out more than just the internet. They're here to inform the people that are below the radar. Things are happening, and to don't worry. I am very worried. you know, Portland or in Oregon, they're going to outlaw, animal farming. You can't have chickens and cows and stuff like that. They actually have a bill to say this. It is so outrageous right across the board what they're doing. It's scary. I'm concerned. Yet I have this other part of me saying these players are being switched out and taken care of, and then we're going through a process. It's not about timing, and I think that's where most intuitives run into truth. You go, oh, by March 2nd, March 21st. It's always about. It's not about that. It's about they're going through their checklist and things to get done, and let's just do that right now. I haven't done it in a couple of weeks, but we were at a standstill in the battle a couple of weeks ago. It's like 50-50. That was really depressing to douse that. We're only 50% strength. But then, about a week and a half, 10 days ago, we were 60-40. And the good guys had 60% of the battles and the power. So we were moving forward in the process. And that's a better way of looking at it. Don't look at these times, what is the battle now? How are the White Hats doing? What's their power? Oh, it's even more now. It looks like, I would say, is that 70? It's 70%. So another 10%. We are at 70% of victories. We're getting close. So some of you who are thinking like July 4th could be a good time, that's interesting. Okay. It might in fact be July 4th, could be a turnaround, but I think it's going to be several. Uh, the other thing is they're going after the churches, the Christian churches in particular, and that's because of the word Christo, Christe. You know what I mean? And they hate that word, and it's a Greek word, Christ, and they just can't. If you're talking to somebody in Starbucks, pull out a Saint Benedict medal. That'll get the communists all wild up. We can't talk in public, but we can. I don't necessarily back down, and no one bothers me when I'm walking Max around. But they sort of know who the enemy is. What's the other one? I had some other thing to say. I was going to douse something else. But that's really. Oh, so the Pope changed the Our Father yesterday. I don't know if it's an official change or he read it. I came across it on a video. They were talking about. We talked about a year and a half ago. He wanted to change one line. So you take a prayer. I would say the Lord's Prayer, or I call it the All Father. Some of you were confused by it. Thank you for putting it up for me. I saw in the comments section. That prayer is in the Old and New Testament, the most powerful passage in it, right? It is, when you're ever in difficulty, that's the go-to prayer, all right? There's other things you can do. I've been looking at Psalms 107. I get, and I'm going to double check this, so I get that's probably the most powerful Psalms is 107. And I believe personally that some kind of Christ beam from the heavens, from the highest dimensions, came down to David on these particular passages, because some of the passages are just normal human writings. You know what I mean? Like a 3 on my scale. Well, like some of them, like 107, are like Christ is in the room with you. That's what 107 is. That's what the Lord's Prayer is. You know, they're just phenomenal. And you tie your request onto that. You know, peace on earth and bless. Oh, Donald Trump. I wanted to do something on Donald Trump really quick, and then I'll go. I did it yesterday. Show me his views of coming back as president. All right. So if he's coming back, it'll be like a 6. If he's definitely not coming back ever, it'll be a -6, okay? And I am getting, go. What does he think in his head, his odds of being president? It's right at 6. And yesterday it was probably like a 4. So in his mind, he's leaning towards it's a possibility. It's not a definite deal. You know, again, it's the process. It's how things are going out. And if it's not Donald Trump, they have someone else to do it if they have to. That's kind of like it. But I see that in his mind, he thinks he has a shot at it. They're gonna do whatever is good for the country, which is very refreshing. You know, consider the Democrats and people like Mitt Romney. Who is Mitt Romney? Who is this guy? I mean, what a piece of work. Why does he hate America? Why do the Democrats hate America? Because it's a foreign entity. It's outside the country. This philosophy is coming from. It has nothing to do with all these things about the rights of men. You know, freedom. You know, the right to breathe air and things. You know, right now they want to take all the property, and the kids in the university think, oh, this is something we got to try. I don't know. They're not. I guess they're not studying the Russian Revolution, how they just pulled out all the aristocracy. And you know who they killed first when they went into Lenin? I was going to say Leningrad, St. Petersburg, which was on the coast. You know that St. Petersburg is. They made that town to give it water access to Europe, and it's next to Finland, and you could drive to there, I guess. I knew some girl. She said it was awful to live there, just because it's all Russian, Soviet Union style apartment complexes. Anyway, they went after the poets and the writers, you know, the people and the painters. They went after those because they knew, and then the people, the entrepreneurs and the small business owners. Those are the group they went at, and that's what we're doing now. That's the white privileged. Even though you're not white, you could be black or Asian or Mexican. You own a business, you have white privilege. That's just the way it is. Sorry, guys. Because it's a class warfare, they just changed the name in Marxism for class to race. Because they got to get rid of the white race, and then they're going to get simultaneous to get rid of the businesses. It's all about the small businesses. Those guys can give opposition to their takeover. You know, the small farmer is very conservative. They work hard. They want to get rid of them, and then they have their food shortage, and then they got us controlled. So we're going to go through that. I hate to go along with this so long. I'm very concerned, like they're getting pretty close to total power. When is the military going to step in? And I did douse. It's all true. It's always been that way. The military has the power right now. And in particular, uh, one particular person has it. I did have Trump had it for about a week after the inauguration, and then it kind of disappeared. There's no power there. So he's like Joe Biden right now. They both don't have power for the presidency, but he's up to speed, and they're going to play it as they go along. That's kind of like what's going on. So don't get depressed when Trump is going, well, I'm going to run in 2024, and you're thinking, we're not going to make it past July 4th. The country is really in critical shape. But I'm going back to AOC, and I predicted in the summer that she had a short time. And I get she's already been traded out. That's not her. And by the way, the original AOC I always got was a boy. That was a boy. And they take these kids and they make them girls, and then they put them out there in power. They put them in the movies because they want this lie. Remember, deception is power to them. It's all about it. And we're going to get rid of these blood drinkers and these child sacrifice people. They're into sacrifices, but it's always other people who have to die for their sacrifice. I don't get that. I never understood. How is that a sacrifice? So this is really critical time. And we talked about the vaccines and things like that. I had it in November. There's a video up. It's still up. So, and I pretty in essence said they're all bad, but those two American ones that were they just made it up. No trials, no protocols. It's just one big toxic soup, and it has the nanotechnology to follow you, to turn up the frequencies on you. It's going to make you a eunuch. It goes on and on and on, and it's there's a part of me. One of the timelines is a drastic drop in the population. I always got that, and like in 10 years from now, we're down to 150 million or something like that. It's maybe even lower. I haven't done it in a long time. No, it's maybe 50 million. I'm not throwing these words around chance. Those are real. Those are real timelines. And if we don't deal with it right now, we're going to be there. These people stay in office and take control with the bullhorn. And that's kind of like what they're doing. They own the TV stations. They own the newspapers. And basically that's their power. And they're getting out on their bullhorn and they say, this is this, we're going to do it. We're signing all these laws. You see Biden signing executive orders. They really are not going to go anywhere. But we're at that point where I'm getting concerned. I want to see a couple of these generals just come down with the hammer and put it out. Because we don't have power. The Constitution is written for the people who don't have power, the middle class, the average American, of all races, of all religions. And we're at that point where we're going to get wiped out. We don't have the money. And that's where the scales of power in this country have got skewed. And over the last 20 years, they keep writing little changes here. It's like the Pope changing the All Father. Don't change the All Father because it's super powerful the way it is. The way it's written down in Greek, ancient Greek, Amek says, and it's that line about temptation, all right? Forgive us our trespasses and those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation. And he wants to modernize it. That's what they claim. They're always modernizing, but you can't modernize anything because language is changing. And that's why they use dead languages. I got that from another guy yesterday. He goes, we use dead languages because it doesn't change. That's the advantage of Latin. It doesn't change. Ancient Greek doesn't change. So lead us not into temptation. The Pope said he doesn't lead us into temptation. So he has something, don't abandon us to temptation. So that's a new word. Well, when I douse it, this is really cool. This is really, I'll leave you on this one. So there's more to it than just changing a language. There's more to it so show me the All Father. Okay, there it is. Boom. It hits me. It always hits me. That's like, yes, this is, and it's 330. I use different numbers, but technically it's going to a second chart. So over here, over here is 330. I switch in my head to 1,000. Here, go. All Father, this is 1,000. So I'm doing 1,000. I'm doing 1,000. So there it is. That is the highest energy carnation of anything on planet Earth. And that's the All Father. That's Jesus Christ. And some saints get close to it. Some saints in different faiths as well. Buddha gets up there, all right? So what he did was he took the All Father, and let's go back to 1 through 10. All right, there it goes. So I'm at 10. That's the All Father, all right, because it's actually at 330. I know it's kind of confusing, but there it is. That's the All Father. Show me the new translation of the All Father. Show me the new translation. Do you see it? It's going to go to here. I don't like going up here, but it's a 5. Wow. Wow. It changed the whole vibration. The whole life force of that prayer has been changed. And that's the same thing with the when you put all the books they took out of the Bible, so we're stuck with the King James, right? You remember I put the Nag Hammadi on there, and I took you put the Dead Sea Scrolls in there, you put the Ethiopian Bible, Enoch, you kind of put those all together, and you get a 10. You take them all out for King James, and you get a 5. They water it down. They're constantly watering down. And these are the administrators, the power center people, the people who they go through the Curia, which is the administration of the Vatican, let's say. That was the faith for 2,000 years. And these guys just chipped away at it, keeps chipping away, watering it down. And now they allow priests to sleep with boys and stuff like that. It's like, no, you guys, now it's obvious something's wrong. And most of the priests aren't that way. So, it's too bad they're all getting maligned. The one lady had a dream, and she was a Catholic, and I believe that's what Fatima 3 is talking about, the prophecy. The narration has never been made public on Fatima 3, all right? And basically it's about the church collapsing and, Rome's in ruins, and that's what this lady psychic, she saw. She was Catholic. She had these visions, and out of that comes a new church. Truth. We need truth. We need all these ancient books that they're hiding from us. We need all the information about the ancient contact with who built the pyramids. Let's say. It wasn't 100,000 slave workers. All right, it was not that. And when they were done, they were just gleaming. They're just beautiful. And the Nile River kind of goes up against them. Now, I think that's true. Now the Nile moves, how rivers move. So all these things will be made public. And so hopefully ignore the Pope's change of the All Father. And don't forget about Psalms 107. It's really, really powerful. I don't know why I always knew it was sort of there. And then the other day I was looking for, and then 51 and 91, 51 is probably the 4th most powerful, 91 is probably the 9th. I don't like doing that because they're all fairly close and they're specific to a topic. And like people use 91 for protection. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do stuff today, and they'll use 91. They put them on clothing. You can put it on like a t-shirt. I think they sell it. You can get a t-shirt and have 91. 51 is good for removing entities from you, black thoughts, black magic. But you can go to 107, it's just longer. It's a whole page, and it's power. It's total power. Now, I also get there's a few passages in the Bible that are equivalent or even more so. I just have to find them. I'll do it someday. Maybe I'll go through there, and that's kind of what I'm saying. We surround ourselves with life force in life, and we'll grow, we'll evolve our consciousness. We're actually going to open it up, what we already know. We're going to release what we already know, and then we're going to come into a point coming up where people, if you're watching this, they're going to turn around and go, "What's going on?" That's what they're going to say, and you're going to say to the people, because they're going to ask you. People are stunned right now. Wait another few months. They're going to be really stunned, and they're going to turn and go, "What is going on?" And you'll have this information, and hopefully we'll see what the military dictatorship does. But they're going to pretend we still have a constitution and presidency. Hopefully, hopefully. And I would never talk this way even 10 years ago about I'm here hoping the military takes over in some way and destroys the woke culture that's taken out. And woke culture is against the middle class. It is a class attack by corporate America, Nike, Pfizer, Macy's, and all of them. They're doing all this woke stuff. It's not a natural, spontaneous expression of our relationship with Christ, with God, with Buddha, with the elementals, with the planet Earth. You know what I mean? We are true Buddhists, true Christians, true everybody who's in communication with their higher self and God. You are the true environmentalists. These guys, the environmentalism today is communism. And all these charities have been taken over. They have a double purpose, and it's really bad because we need them. We need taking care of the animals, stray dogs. We need to pick them up. But in essence, those operations should be government operations, who collect money and spend it dime for dime. A lot of the money is disappearing, and money is power. That's why people collect money. They want it to assert power over you. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out. I'm really excited. I got my St. Benedict medals, and I'm going to go put them on my property today. And I came across that, I told you, and I vaguely remember these things. And they always, as the exorcist said, the St. Benedict medal, and when they put it on a cross, they do that. It's called the St. Benedict cross. That's what they take out for people who are possessed, obsessed, and I forget the other ones, but they have these things, dark entities, dark thoughts. They pull that out, and it has a great impact. It works a lot, depending on what they're dealing with. And in your own lives, a lot of you have black magic put on you by other people, let's say at work, where they know about you and how you think. They could see you on a video somewhere. You wrote a comment on someone else's video somewhere else, and they put something on you. They put something on your animals a lot, your farm animals. The Lord's Prayer will take it off. 3 Lord's Prayer, most of the time. And then you check. I douse it, and I can check. Or I can feel it. I can see when people have it. I have people coming into my life in the next couple of months. They're not even here yet. I know a couple of them will have it. I can take it off in a couple of seconds. With what? 107, right? Lord's Prayer. Yes. Use the tools that are given to you. Use it. And be sincere and be thankful in the prayer. And don't forget the Gregorian chants. I listened to them for like 3 hours yesterday. I just got lost. I was listening to there's a lot of different recordings. I found one I really like, but they want $35 for the album, and I go, good God, that's pretty good. But it was a woman singing Kyrie, Eleison, which is the Greek. I kind of butchered it, but don't worry about it. You don't have to pronounce things right. When you say the Lord's Prayer, you don't have to get it exactly right, because your intention goes back to Sermon on the Mount. That day, he's pulling it out from the highest dimensions, and it comes out. It's like you're holding hands with Jesus Christ on that day. That's why it's so powerful. Your intention. So you can almost misspeak it. The Pope is changing this on purpose. That's the difference. His intention and the Curia, their intention is different. Your intention is pure. You're coming in front of all creation saying, here I am. I'm just a human being. I'm humble. In all humility, I go forth in life. Big difference. And most priests are like that. And it's too bad a lot of priests, a lot. And they changed it because they modernized the church. Remember, 1965 with the Second Vatican. And that impacted all the other churches, the Lutherans, the Methodists. I don't even know if the Methodists have a cross anymore. So this is all modernizing, watering down the message. Well, the message is, the standard when you go back, they're pretty hardcore, And hello, this is part 2. I took Max to the big town today, and the manager of the supermarket came out and petted him. He gets more attraction than anyone I know. If I'd known this when I was 20, I would have gotten a big dog. I didn't know. That's a secret to life. And she was a pretty young girl. And then the other day, also went to the gas station, filled up, and the manager came out and petted Max and gave him a dog biscuit. And he just attracts attention. He has a very special nobility about him. And I've had a lot of dogs before, and Max is unique. He's unique. They were all special, but he has a unique thing, and the kids want to come over and hug him and things like that. And part of it is I feed him pretty good food. So he was an alpha male to begin with. So he's bigger. He had bigger bone structure. And the lady who raised the pup, she said, he was the alpha male. She didn't tell us because alpha males are a little bit tricky to raise, and you have to be firm with them, yet you got to give them respect. Anyway, I gave him good food. I gave him Blue Buffalo in time. The first couple, she was feeding him like this Walmart dog food, which is like, you can't live 2 years on Walmart dog food. They can't. You got to get those better dog foods. And I got Blue Buffalo made a new dog food with oatmeal and barley. Excellent for humans, excellent for dogs. Really good for their bowels. And unfortunately, it's $30 a case. And their cheapest dog food at Blue Buffalo is $15 a case. And they're both very good foods. They're both good. They're just, one has more protein. It's the protein that really dictating. The quality of the protein dictates the vibration, the life force. It's very interesting. So Blue Buffalo lose a better quality chicken, for example, and oats. All those things are a better quality consistently. And then you go over to these other dog foods. Almost 90% don't make it. It's hard to believe. Now, I haven't done that in a while. And I keep bringing it up because I'm looking for that number to change. As our consciousness goes up, that number should go down to 80%, 70%. You know what I mean? As we get away from the woke capitalism that's running corporate America right now, we got to go after them. I have nothing to do. What are you going to do? Take my Social Security? It's not too much anyway. And I'm not going to give up that Blue Buffalo, so the hell with them. But that's what we have to do. When we get a higher consciousness into the schools, into the corporations, there might be some hope for our country. And that's the critical part. And anyway, so he gets the best. They got a middle level, so they got all these, you know how dog food works. Oh, did you know I was talking about you? Oh, he heard us. He was outside. He can get in. He's so strong. And then here's the he gives me the rear end, which is that's a dog thing. All the dog owners know this. big dogs in particular, they can't reach this. This spot they can't reach. See? So he comes in, he wants me to rub it, and it's like, I don't know. This would get me kicked out of university, wouldn't it? Okay. And then I wanted to talk about very good questions about shedding, where it's that idea that's been around for the last, I only heard it a couple of weeks ago myself. I wasn't really sure. But it's about, so you get the vaccine, and then there's a process with the vaccine where you are producing, it goes on, it changes. Don't write about it. It's not important. It's just that there's a process that goes through where you're reinfecting other people because you got vaccinated. So it's not that you got the COVID-19 or whatever virus that's out there, because those people are immune, right? So you got let's say 6 months ago you got COVID-19. Supposedly you're immune and you can't spread it. All right, you're not infected anymore. But now they're going, and there's this theory. I don't know how. But they say if you get the vaccine, you're going to reproduce it. It's going to be a different COVID-19. It's one that's reinventing itself over and over. So you're infected. You exhibit infection-like symptoms, and you're infecting people. Well, if you're going to inoculate everybody, and everybody's infected, eventually we're going to go through, that 20%, like I told you before, and you get 20%, another couple of years, 20%. Well, we'll eventually get rid of everyone. Is that what they want to do? Yes. Is it happening? I don't have it happening, no. So that's sort of what's going on. Everything about, even without the shedding aspect, it's very bad. And so let me just double check it for you one more time. And the idea and theory of shedding, is it accurate? Is it happening? No, it's not happening. What is the probability that the Luciferians will take over with their Nazism? It's really low. All right? It's still, we always had that. I'm getting 2% chance.